Story time. I was in the 11th grade. Me and my homegirl went to my house after we got off the bus. She stayed in a complex right next to mine. So we get to my house, my mom not home. We chilling. I think we going to do something that night. Anyways, we get to the house. I know that it's a bottle of Ciroc in the back of the refrigerator. That was my daddy's. My daddy is a truck driver. My daddy would be like in and out of town because he's a truck driver. So I knew that bottle of Ciroc had been sitting there for a while, and it'd probably be a little minute before we come back to it. Anyways, so I was like, "Girl, you want a drink?" So, boom, we get the Ciroc. We drank some of the Ciroc. With a little juice, I make our drinks. We have us a good little cheers, kiki time. And going about the day. Fast forward to, I think, was it a week? I don't know the time period, but it wasn't that far off till my daddy come back in town. And mind you, previously, like before the previous time he was in town when he bought the Ciroc bottle, I think I was like caught drinking with my cousins or whatever. Or like it was found out that my cousins let me drink with them, whatever. So it kept being a trend thing or whatever of high school going through rebellion, whatever. And my daddy, he came back in town. I don't remember if we tried to put something in the bottle or he just realized that it was less than what it was before. So he said something to my mama. It came up somehow, I don't know if I admitted to it or what, but it came up that we had some of the Ciroc bottle. We drank some of the bottle. And then I remember distinctively, like, when they asked me about it or something, and they said, like, basically, like, the way they asked me about it, the way they posed it to me, like, they were saying my homegirl, like, led me in drinking this bottle. Like, oh, you ain't gotta do what your friends do. Don't be a follower. Like, and I just remember the keywords of them saying, like, you ain't gotta be a follower. Don't be a follower. And me taking offense to that. Because for one, I wasn't following. Pooh, I was leading. So, that's how I feel at the moment. I think. Still, maybe I do. I don't know. Anyways, they were saying I was a follower. They thought the friend led me to do it. And I told them, I remember kind of like low-key snapping. We was like having a little sit down, like, I ain't following nobody. It was my idea. I wanted a little drink. We took a little drink. So, anyways, but fast forward to like maybe that we had like during the week we had that sit down that weekend. My daddy was like, pack a little bag. We finna go somewhere. Pack a little overnight, little weekend bag, whatever. And I was like, well, we about to go. He was like, don't matter, just pack the bag. Mama ain't saying nothing, she quiet. So I'm like, huh. So I packed the little bag. We in the car, we riding. At this time, we lived in Brandon, Florida. So we riding. And I wasn't really the type to pay attention like that to directions and interstate to fully know where I was going. So as we driving, I'm texting my cousin, like, we in the car, we just passed this sign. Cause I'm thinking he finna take me to a camp and drop me off at some, like, I don't know, wooded camp. I don't know what's about to happen, but yeah, I thought it was finna be something crazy. So I'm texting my cousin as we passing the signs. And she like, let me know, let me know when you stop, whatever. Because if it's whatever, what we thinking it was, she like, I'm finna come get you. Let me know. So, shout out my cousin. But she, we finally riding. We passed the Clearwater signs. I'm still telling her we pull up. Once we get in the room, I think the test, I'm like, girl, we at a hotel, blah, blah. Good, you ain't gotta come get me, whatever. So, we pulled up to a hotel, a resort in Clearwater, Florida. But we put up to the resort. We was there, and I am flirkish. I am confusion. I am like, why we at a hotel? I'm supposed to be in trouble. Like, what's going on? So we get there, we check in, we go eat, go back to the room for a little bit. We ain't really saying much. And then like that night after we left the room, we went and that hotel is like a pool area, and then if you know Clearwater, been in Clearwater, Florida, whatever, it was one of the hotels that was like you could walk out that gate right onto the beach. Like it's the pool, then this little gate, you on the beach. So we walk to the beach, we sit by the water, and he bring up the conversation, and we have like a calm, peaceful conversation of what's my interest in drinking, but also just life and like just like I don't quite remember, but I just know it was impactful. And I didn't realize it then. I was thankful for it then, but not realizing the why. But I definitely realize it now. Like the impact of him choosing that route to like, I guess it not reminded me. I don't know what the word would be, but it was like just like an eye-opening thing of like my dad, even though he my dad, like he know I'm human too, and I needed that break too, and I was able to kind of say it that way now because of when we done talked about it since. But I have been thinking about this a lot lately in my life. Maybe like a year ago, a couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago, me and my husband were sitting there having a conversation, and I mentioned this to him, and I was like, dang, I realized I never like thanked my dad for that. So in that moment, like a year ago, I called him FaceTime, and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, like, thank you for that. Because I think it would have went differently, knowing my personality, if it was kind of like responding with the like rod in a sense versus like a hand. And I asked him too when I called him to thank him for it or whatever. Because I was like, when I called him, I said, I just want to let you know that was a top tier parenting moment. But I asked him what made him do that, and he was like, shoot, I figured you needed a break. I needed a break. You needed a break. We needed to change the scenery. We obviously was both going through something. We all just trying to figure it out. We all just need a break. A lot of the times. And especially when it comes in relation to like, you know, your child or something. So I know that was like I've been in my head calling like a golden moment for me of like how I treat things in life. And it's just a big thing to remember that we all just humans figuring it out, and we all need a break sometimes. Yeah.